community, and how we can continue bringing these spaces, that safe spaces for the future generations of Indigenous youth. So yeah, definitely, thank you.
See, I'm just checking. Are there any questions in the chat box? More congratulations than questions. Go ahead, Norellen.
I've got another one. Have you worked or are you familiar at all with the work of Arcela Nunez Alvarez? She works down here. She started Universidad Popular and works with the very large Oaxacan community that we have in Vista, California. I wondered if you were aware of that. We have a very large community here, and if you would like, I would love to put you two in contact with each other. She ran a large program out of Cal State San Marcos up until recently, and she quit because she's working out with the farm workers and with a lot of the indigenous people down here, getting them vaccinated, running health clinics, etc.
Right.
And also educational projects. But if you're interested, I would love to have maybe your email, and I'll put you two in contact with each other.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, thank you.
I was going to ask Nancy, can we share your email, or I'm happy to filter them through to you?
Yes, of course, my email address. And I'll
I have it in my records.
Yeah.
I have it, so I can share it, or I just
Okay,
wanted
perfect.
your permission to be able
Okay,
to do
yeah,
that,
that's
because
fine. Go
I
ahead.
don't know who all of us are.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
So
We're anti-spammers, so you won't get a spam from us.
no. So Nancy, how do these young people who need you find you?
Yes, so far, because Oye is like a collective, very autonomous group, the way that Oye has been communicating and doing outreach is through social media. So we have a Instagram page, a Facebook page, and I could put the handle here for folks to find out more. We're in the process of building a website to be more accessible to other folks. So we have this is our handle for IG. It's soy SOY.oye OYE. And then Instagram, I think it's more or less, I can double check and share with Jane after, but the Instagram, that one I do know by heart.
It's interesting. So you found that your students, probably from being second generation, are very adept at using social media and will contact you that way.
Oh yes. The new I was gonna say I have my daughter, and like I'm not the Generation Z, right? They're very techie savvy, very it's the way to go about, outreaching and getting, youth's attention. So yeah, and social media has been like a really great tool.
And do some of these other organizations that you mentioned, do they have web pages, and do you have links? Well, I guess you don't have your web page up yet, but I was thinking, you could link through yours to them or vice versa.
Yes, I'm happy to share that with Jane as well, and to provide that, because I don't know it by heart either, that one, but yeah, they have a website for sure. They, like I mentioned, they've been here for 30 years plus, doing this amazing work, working with Indigenous migrants, and so they definitely have websites, and they've been doing a lot of great work. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm curious, on the social media, are the people that are going there speaking multiple languages? Yeah. So one person will type in one language, and somebody else may or may not know that language and use another language. So you've got several languages going at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so we definitely, for example, with that video release, we were very intentional to making sure that it was as multilingual as possible, because again, within our indigenous languages, there's different variants, right? That is, so it's not the same. For instance, Zapoteco from people from Sogocho, like Sogochenses, that versus people from a different pueblo like Solaga that they speak Zapoteco. So, but again, the goal is to, again, is to practice and, you know, share our languages as much as possible. And then those that are really would be interested in pursuing, right, and really speaking their languages, another opportunity that's been amazing is to become an Indigenous interpreter. So that's also been happening as well, more and more, the work that CBDIO and MICOPA have been doing as well. So it's
that's
we
great.
definitely and our languages is our indigenous language is an oral language, it's not a written. So I don't think we're specifically Oye is not writing the language. We when we do releases, we did them multilingual, but for the flyers, they were mostly English and Spanish.
Do the different groups, are the languages similar enough that they can understand each other?
No.
Okay, because I was thinking of like Portuguese and Spanish and Italian, that they can communicate even though the languages are different,
Yeah.
but these are not similar, huh?
Yeah, the Romance language is right. I speak, I actually do, I'm conversational Portuguese myself. So I do speak Portuguese. I can understand it because of the Romance languages. But yeah, Zapoteco, like unless you're really immersed and right in the language and like in the region and like the community, then you could, it's possible. It's not impossible. Like definitely it's possible, but it's not just like but it takes practice and it is a skill. So that's why I said no right away, because it's like you can't just like wake up and then like, okay, I understand, right? But it takes practice and it is a skill, but it is possible. So I want to say my answer.
Nancy, are you going to tell us how many languages you speak?
No.
Yes, yes.
Please.
Yeah, English, Spanish, Portuguese, conversational, and Zapoteco. I'm a beginner for Zapoteco.
That's just so impressive. And when I did author visits, I would ask kids how many here speak one language, and all the hands would go up. And then I'd say, what about two? And maybe half. And then how about three? And once I had a little boy who was maybe 7 who spoke 4 languages. And then I talked about the importance of knowing other languages.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. You are the best.
Thank you.
Nancy, is there any desire on the part of the community to record the language in written form for people who live far away, haven't been exposed to it in spoken form, and to make sure it doesn't get lost?
I wouldn't be able to really respond to that because it is a little complicated for, you know, I think there's been more, I think, work in the area of linguistics, like folks that are
Yeah,
doing
this would
projects
be a
with
linguistic thing.
Yeah, and so I have I'm aware of some linguistics working with communities to create it into a written form, to continue and to revitalize the language as one way, but there are also other ways. So it's interesting the different ways to go about to revitalizing the language.
Yeah.
You probably know, Nancy, that a lot of our California tribes are in the process of saving their languages, particularly our San Diego tribes have big projects to save the language, record, go speak with the elders who still speak the language if it's written, although ours, like yours, most of them aren't written. But there are big projects in California because we're down to the last speakers in some tribes. So it's
yeah, no, definitely. I know there's other people in the community who are working and doing that work as well to revitalize the language, definitely. And I think, in my research, I will be also talking about for in my book, about one of the chapters or part of the book is like, yeah, the different ways that Oye has done that work as well. Not necessarily like officially, but in different ways, they've also been doing that work of revitalizing and supporting to continue practicing our indigenous languages. Mhm.
Anyone else out there? We might be ready to wrap this up, but
One
it's an
quick
ama-
question. Do you have any favorite traditions that you would be willing to share with us?
I think Dia de los Muertos is one that is near and dear to my heart, and for many reasons. But yeah, that I think is one of my favorite. It's been somewhat it's been interesting also to witness how it's kind of changed in different ways, right? In diaspora as well. But yeah, I think Dia de los Muertos is one, yeah, very important and special to me.
I was
Can-
lucky
can
enough
you
to be in
just-
Oaxaca for that one time.
Can you explain why that's important to you?
Yeah,
And explain what it is.
yeah, and I didn't hear what someone else was speaking.
Oh,
Will
I-
you explain what it is?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, I just said I was lucky enough to be in Oaxaca for the Day of the Dead
Oh, okay.
many years ago, but it was the authentic Day of the Dead and not the one that we do in the United States.
Oh, I see. Yes. So Dia de los Muertos, yeah, for that is a practice where we honor and remember our family, our ancestors who've passed away, and it's a way to honor and remember them and celebrate them. I mean, I feel like, you know, it's been somewhat co-opted with Disney, with, you know, we have Coco now, so now everybody
Yeah.
has an understanding of what it is, right? So, but yeah, and they used a lot of the background scenery and colors, alebrijes from Oaxaca for that movie as well. So it's been really interesting how now people practice it more, celebrate it, but it's like, yeah. So anyways. Mhm.
Okay. Step in and thank you again, Nancy, and for all the rest of you who joined the meeting today, because it was almost beyond being able to ask enough questions to appreciate all your work. How long will you be in the program at Santa Cruz? Do you know?
The
future?
postdoc is it's up to 2 years, so I can it just depends. Some people have only decided to do 1 year, and some decide to do it up to 2 years. So for now, I'm gonna do it for sure for a year.
Okay.
And then we'll see if I'll stay for another year or just move forward with my being an assistant professor at one of
Depends on what fabulous job offers you get.
the yeah.
Did you
Indeed.
a heavy thesis? Are you gonna have to do more writing, or can you just teach for your postdoc? Do you have writing you're gonna have to do?
Yeah, so during my postdoc, I'm going to be focusing on working on my dissertation into a book. So that's my
Okay.
So I get to work on my research on my. So yeah.
On your mailing list.
Yes, I want
With
to
a
read
book
it when it's
signing.
ready.
Yeah.
So Nancy, you'll have to let Jane and the rest of us know when your book comes out, because we all want it.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
great.
please.
Okay, yes, I'll definitely let you all know.
Hey, back to you, Pat.
Is there anything else this morning, friends? Well, if there is nothing else, I am so glad we could all come together this morning, and I will adjourn.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for
Thank you.
arranging
Happy
And be
Easter.
well all.
for the assist.